Welcome to the Bell MTS Iceplex, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Game number 7 here at this particular venue for the Junior National Ball Hockey Championships. We've got a game between the Newfoundland Labrador Selects and the Pacific Coast from British Columbia. Here in the boys U15. Pacific Coast in the white, blue trim. Newfoundland and Labrador in the blue, white, and red trim. And once again, we're joined by Dustin Kelly, Manitoba ball hockey legend, joining me in the booth to do some color commentary for a few games. And as you said, as we introduced this game during the last one, we're going coast to coast in this one, BC and Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah, your hometown boys here, George, so.
Head in front and cleared away and not out, kept in by the Pacific Coast. There's Korea, and ball comes in and out of play. Ben Fleming, starting goaltender for Newfoundland and Labrador. Riley Fahy got the nod for Newfoundland and Labrador this morning. This is their second game of the day, the Newfoundland and Labrador Selects.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule for the guys having 2 in a day.
Two is easy. Try doing 10. I don't have to run on concrete, though.
No, but 10 is tough.
10 is fun. 10 is fun. Tell you, Dust, if it wasn't fun, I would have given this up a long time ago. Swept away by Fleming. Roberts. I joked, I say, I always want to do all these tournaments because I'm afraid if they get somebody else, I'll never get back. So.
Yeah, we do it for the love of the game. It's the people that are involved with this sport know what I'm talking about. But once you fall in love with it, you don't want to give it up. It's something that we have a lot of fun doing, playing, watching, and doing what George does so well here. So.
Well, you know the story of Wally Pipp, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought I might get you on that one. Wally Pipp, first baseman for the New York Yankees, decided one day he didn't feel well, had a touch of the flu, decided to sit out. A young fellow by the name of Lou Gehrig took his spot that day. Pipp never played or never started another game.
Yeah, I actually spent last night watching the Derek Jeter documentary and took a couple good quotes from that. Said Mickey Mantle always said, I always want to play my best game every time because I never know who's watching me for the first time. I thought that was
that's good.
A really good quote.
Brown stops up inside the blue line. Ball goes up in the air. He's battling there with Bugden, and Newfoundland Labrador come away with it. Flynn played it off the boards and elected to head to the bench. Mackey, for Pacific Coast, plays it back behind his goal to Lind. He gives it back to Mackey. Brown has it at the blue line. Brown through center. That's stolen. Bugden, he lost it, but following up on it was Cumby. Cumby will send it in. Quick shot from the high slot there by Kalen Blake. Is turned aside. Is it just me, or does the goaltender for Pacific Coast look like his equipment is a lot smaller than most?
Yeah, and he's got his straps dragging there too, so hopefully somebody can address that if he figures that out, but hopefully he's not stepping on him.
Hanson kept it in for Pacific Coast down the corner. Back there first is James Park, captain of Newfoundland Labrador Selects. The shot goes wide of the goal, sits in behind the goal. Now they get it free. Hanson, one of the Hanson brothers?
Oh, I guess there must be a third one out there.
It was just there. I mean, what are you going to do? Blake with some good moves. Blake with a shot. Big save. The equipment may be small, but that's a huge save.
A great set of hands there on Blake.
Fired over the top of the goal. Ball goes in behind the Newfoundland and Labrador goal. Park has it. Park to the boards. Marshall is there. Cole Marshall. High in the air out at the blue line, knocked down there by Maloney. And he had it knocked off his stick. Keller keeps it in.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you this, George, but my whole family's from Newfoundland, so Gander, Gambo, St. John's.
I was aware you have a Newfoundland connection. I'm named with like Kelly. You have to be connected to Newfoundland and Labrador somehow.
Yeah, I love it. Love it out there. Never a shortage of fun when I get to go back home. I think we got George Street Festival coming up this weekend.
It's been on the go already,
Yeah.
and it's continuing. And even when the George Street Festival isn't on the go, it's still a festival on George Street.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the official one now. Nice save there by Fleming. Pacific Coast maintaining possession. Really hustling back hard was Jackson Lovett.
Yeah, great play. He's still going.
He's got Osmac out in front. He likes to go back to the circle with it. The shot did not get through. Following up on it, Cunningham to the front. Ball bouncing around in front of Fleming. Osmac with a shot. I think that hit somebody in front. None of that getting through to the goal, I don't believe, Dustin.
No, a lot of blocks there.
A lot of bodies in front
Shelling
of Ben
up
Fleming.
in front of the net.
Kept in. Good shift here by the Pacific Coast. That went off a stick out towards the boards. Knocked down with a high stick. Face-off will stay there.
Yeah, great action early on here. Both teams playing hard. How did Newfoundland fare this morning?
I was afraid you were going to ask. I called the game. They played Alberta. I didn't write down the score, and after 7 games.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot there. I apologize for that.
No, that's fine. When one game is over, it's tough to remember the rest. That
Yeah,
hit the
that was
outside
wrong.
of the post. I mean, I should remember, but I don't. Too many games. I'll look it up at the end of the day. That hit the back of the goal as it went high in the air. And it goes out of play. .540 to go, first period, no score yet.
We had a 1-1 tie earlier, George.
That's why I couldn't remember who won.
There you go.
I know this is going to sound. So I was thinking at the time, I think they tied, but I couldn't quite remember. Easy for me to say that now, but. All right, Newfoundland Labrador. The ball down low. Budgel works it into the slot. A shot that rang off the goal post. James Park let one fly. They hold it against the boards. Finally, the referee says enough of that. Blows the whistle.
Yeah, it was a great play there by Jake Budgel. Really shielding his body, found the guy in the slot. I mean, great save, but I think we did get a piece of the post there.
Pretty sure, just by the way the referee waved it off, that it hit the post. Tough to tell from our angle because it was the far post and it was blocked out by the goaltender. Chafe controlling the ball, gets it down low to Cullen. Cullen has it stripped away. Flynn stepped in to break up that clearing attempt by Pacific Coast. Back it comes in again. Can't bring it in over the blue line, would have been offside. Whistle goes. The referee says, my fault. That was an inadvertent whistle. He anticipated the ball going in over the blue line, I think, which would have made it offside, but
Nice to see the referee taking a little ownership.
and what's even nicer, Dustin, is when you get pizza delivered to the booth.
That was a nice touch.
Now, when are we going to find time to eat it? You talk for a few minutes, I'll have a couple of bites,
There you
and then
go.
that's how we'll do it.
Might have to turn the mic off.
Yeah. So chewing in somebody's ear. Offside. If they touch it, they do. Not the player who touched it. It was Harper, 14, who was in ahead of the play, Declan Barker. Yeah, if it goes really quiet all of a sudden, you know that Dustin and I are eating pizza.
We won't do that to you, folks.
That hits the score clock here at the Iceplex. Knocked down out at center by Cameron Roberts. Roberts brings it in. Good pass, scores! Nice play by Cameron Roberts. Thought that in, fed it over to the left side. And I believe it's Reed Chafe who gets the goal. Let's take a look here, Dustin.
Yeah, I mean, just a real patient play here at the blue line as he tucks it inside. Beats the defender to the inside. He's on his backhand, throws that back door. It's just a one-timer. Great play all around, but we'll give all the credit there to Cameron Roberts. Patient play, makes the play. We got a 1-0 hockey game.
That rolls into the goaltender and doesn't cover it up. Now he's finally got it. That's Colby Vitelli in goal for Pacific Coast. Okay, Utah.
Face off here in the Pacific Coast zone. We're coming around the net here. It's Osmac. Just gonna get organized. Newfoundland still picking up the pressure inside the Pacific Coast zone.
So was Park given credit with the goal, the captain
Ooh,
of Newfoundland selects.
I think we got one coming up there, George.
That's going to be body checking. Are you going to give me the sheets back and let me do this again?
Give the sheets back. George had time to study all the names. Caught me off guard there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just meant you could do a little chat. You didn't have to do the play-by-play like
Right.
grab the bite of pizza.
Yeah, we got to give George a little time here to have some food. He's been working his butt off all day.
Timeout's been called. They take a timeout. So will we.
We're going to see our first power play of the game here, Pacific Coast.
Penalty to Michael Cumby of Newfoundland and Labrador. down to the penalty box. 2-minute penalty. Comes with just about 2.5 minutes to go in the first period. 1-0 Newfoundland and Labrador. Mackey gave it to Cunningham. Back to Mackey. Fan on the first pass attempt. Great ball over him was Monk. Mackey gets it in front, went right through the crease. Turned and firing down the floor was Park. Okay, James Park is not off the floor a whole lot for Newfoundland and Labrador. Their captain, number 8.
Starting to see that, George. He seems like a real tough kid to play against, and I haven't seen too much time on the floor without number 8 out there.
Fleming goes up, grabs that. Inadvertently gave the goal for Newfoundland and Labrador to number 88, but it was number 8. Park who got the goal. Heard the announcement here in the arena. Under 2 to play. Still on the power play for another minute and 10 seconds. Pacific Coast. Cavan. That one off of Park over to the boards. Park blocked that one too.
Great block.
Cavan. He'll come back to him. He'll try the other side. Cunningham. That shot wide of the goal.
I think Pacific Coast just a little too spread out right now. They need to tighten it up a little bit on this power play. Get a couple more shots in close.
Time winding down. Inside the final minute here in the opening period. Just 20 seconds to go in the power play. That was picked off. Back comes Bogdan. Nobody there. Bogdan goes into the boards and he knocks down the Pacific Coast player. And that's going to be a penalty. It's Aurora Cahert for Pacific Coast.
Dangerous amount of time on the clock here with the penalty. If Newfoundland can somehow get the draw, you could spring someone, but I think we're going to have a face-off outside. I thought it would be inside, but yeah, we're going to go inside.
They're going to move it inside on the penalty. To say it's a brief 5-on-3 was 1 second. That penalty has expired, so it's 5-on-4 now. There's 1 second to go in the previous Newfoundland and Labrador penalty when that one was called. Wrist shot hit some bodies in front, did get through, and Fleming got the trapper up there and knocked it away. Mackey turns, shoots, another save by Fleming. He's had a strong period. Good job by Cunningham to hold it in. Temple, time running out, 4 seconds. Drifts it in wide of the goal. It sits on the back of the net, and the whistle goes. First period comes to an end. Minute 27 left to go in the power play for Pacific Coast, and we come back to start the second period. 1-0, Newfoundland and Labrador, and a goal by James Park after the opening 12 minutes. We'll be back with period number 2 in about 2 minutes from now. Pacific Coast still with a minute 19 to go in their power play. Trailing it by 1. Cunningham lost it. Kind of looked up as the pass was coming over to decide what to do with it before he had received it. Temple to Cunningham. They get it onside in over the blue line. Now they can bring it all the way back to center. Francis. Come here to Cunningham on his backhand. Just has to shoot it in. Cunningham didn't get much on that. And it'll be cleared away. At least there was a chance to clear it. Now they get it out. Flynn with a shot. Save made by Vitelli. Makes the second one as well. Not sure he really knew where that rebound was.
Yeah, Flynn with some good wheels there. He was moving up the left side of the rink. Still going. He's going to need a quick change. Nope.
Whoop. Bad turnover there. What a chance for Mackey. Newfoundland Labrador looked like they were about to kill off the penalty, get it up to 4. Next thing it's 2-on-1 the other way. Now the penalty is over. Cunningham still with it. Threw it on goal from a sharp angle. Easy save there for Fleming, and Fleming will hold on.
Yeah, Fleming's been solid in the pipes. George, not a lot of rebounds, but he's really smothered everything. He's given them a good chance to win tonight.
You say tonight, I just as we came out of the intermission, I looked down at the time clock. It's 5:14. I didn't realize it was so late.
George has been here since 7:45 this morning, ladies and gentlemen. So he
he's right.
he's a trooper, but we appreciate all his efforts.
Dudalek will take the face-off for Pacific Coast. Oh, Brown had a chance and just couldn't get a stick on it. Back at the point, Lind, his shot, and again Fleming, solid, makes the catch. No rebound that time.
Yeah, he's a cool cat, that Fleming. Just easy pickings with the glove, settles it down. Face off to the right of him.
That's swept down. Can he catch up to it? No, he can't. It'll be a flooring call. I've used this analogy before, and I've talked about it on the air, and I talk about it too with players and coaches. And everybody talks about a good goaltender being a brick wall. And I said I don't like that term because everything bounces off a brick wall. A goaltender should be like a really soft pillow.
Or a sponge.
Yeah, just
soaking
everything that hits you, it just stays there. You want to make yourself a soft pillow. Just let it come into you and stay there. And
I mean, I guess
so you got to be relaxed and you can't be tensing up all the time.
No, it's. I think we discussed in the earlier games. I know you played some goal, but I give these guys all the credit for what they do.
Did I mention I was House League Bantam champion? I don't know if I mentioned that before.
I think a couple times actually now.
No way. I try not to talk about it, because I don't want to be bragging too much.
Still got the trophy on the piano back home.
I tell you, piano would be wasted on me too, Dustin.
Oh. That's just my childhood, I guess.
Goes in behind the Pacific goal. On at first back there is Philpott. Philpott trying to get himself free. Draped all over him is Mackey. And Mackey comes away with the ball. And Philpott goes back at him, but Mackey gets it, doesn't get it out. James Park read it, plays it back in. Player goes down in the corner. The ball comes, I was going to say it came loose, but nobody can really get a good handle on it. It goes back in there again. Monk turning. A little bit of room, and that closed in a hurry. Finally, Philpott took it, tried the wraparound, no go there. That was some tough work along the boards, both teams.
Yeah, you know what? Just watching that shift there below the face-off circles in the opponent's zone, Newfoundland always doing a good job on the cycle. Great job shielding their bodies away from the ball. Brought back some tough memories for me chasing those guys around.
Chafe got it down into the corner to Cullen. He's back towards the point. Pacific Coast player lost their stick. On the backhand, a shot is made, and a good save made by Vitelli. Lovett racing after it. Lovett pass across on the backhand. It's put wide. Temple with a shot. Save made. That'll be kept in. Cahert. Park. Wrong angle off the boards. Kept in by Lovett. Threw it across. That's picked off. Another Pacific player lost their stick. Newfoundland Labrador able to bring it up. They're going to draw a penalty against Pacific Coast.
Gets him on the hook. There was a few whacks there, but he's lucky to get away with two, I think. Yeah, real tough for Pacific Coast. I mean, they have a couple good shifts back-to-back in the Newfoundland end. Ball comes out, and you take a 2-minute penalty, and Newfoundland's going to go to the power play here to try and make a 2-0 game.
Blake, Cumby, Park, Bugden, and Riley Cave on the power play for Newfoundland and Labrador. Trying to get away was Mackey. Couldn't get the bouncing ball to settle. Bugden, he'll bring it in himself, but ran out of options. Park back to get it. Minute 25 to go in the power play. Players all line up along the blue line. Now they bring it in. That's onside. Bring it all the way back to the red line now. Park doesn't shoot it. Wants it back though. Now he'll shoot it. One of the Pacific Coast players in front went behind the goal, then turning and shooting it was Cumby, put it wide. Newfoundland Labrador maintained possession. Bugden and Cave, back to Bugden, he'll step in. The shot did not get on goal. Cumby plays it into the corner. Blake on it first for Newfoundland and Labrador. Blake. The net has come dislodged. That is the case. They're saying it's a Newfoundland and Labrador player responsible, so the face-off comes outside the blue line. Nice break there for the Pacific Coast.
Yeah, 37 seconds to go in the penalty here. Pacific Coast really kept the ball to the outside. I'd like to see the Newfoundland D-men get in a little bit closer, but again, look at Park. He'll log the full 2 minutes. He doesn't get tired.
Well, step in, a shot again from outside.
There it is.
Save made by Vitelli, and then it's just missed. Great chance there.
I don't know if Temple actually dove and made that save.
I think the defenseman blocked it. Got in behind the goaltender and kept it out. Vitelli made the first one. Brown, he'll turn. That was stopped by Park. Brown's got it again. That'll do it. Penalty is over. Good penalty kill by the Pacific Coast. That one good chance for Newfoundland and Labrador. And comes off the end boards. Fleming has that and holds on. As you mentioned, Dustin, lots of possession from Newfoundland and Labrador in that power play, but they were kept outside the dots.
Yeah.
And you've got to get it inside the dots to be successful.
Two pretty evenly matched teams here though tonight, George. Pacific Coast starting to get back to that forecheck they had going right before the power play. So
that'll go up into the mesh. Face-off will stay in the Newfoundland and Labrador end down to our right. 4:54 left to go. Second period, 1-0. That's all between these two teams.
2 games today for Newfoundland, George. Do you think these kids will be in bed before 9 o'clock tonight?
If I didn't have a game late, I would be.
I highly doubt that. They'll be up. Always good to travel all the way from the East Coast, and it's good to see Newfoundland represented strongly here at this tournament.
Yeah, they have teams in all 5 divisions.
Yeah. And just speaking from us Manitobans, we always love hanging out with our Newfoundland friends. It just seems like those 2 provinces just see eye to eye for some reason. I won't say why.
Here's a chance. Marshall, a shot save made by Vitelli, and swept through the boards. To be kept in by Simmons. Marshall. Keeping the defender on his back, having a look around. Tried to feed it back to the point. That was picked off. Here comes Alistair Lynn. Sorry, 14, not 44. This is Barker. Declan Barker. And out of the scrum, Newfoundland Labrador come up with it. A pass, though, intended for Maloney, was stopped by Cavan, who read that well. Now it's cleared down the floor. And that will be a whistle and a face-off back in the Newfoundland and Labrador end. .341 to go. Philpott got it down the floor. Race is on. Hansen and Monk. Monk beats him to the ball. Monk down in the corner. Up along the boards to Budgel. Budgel backing it up. Park. Shot. That went off. Collard up near the blue line and went high. That shot was tipped. Philpott at the left post had a chance to tap that in. Had it go off the toe of his stick. Oh, Budgel was shooting it or passing it there.
Yeah, he's a nice little player too. Pretty tough to get around him and Park out there.
Anstey. Monk. Taken away. Pacific Coast will bring it out. Thrown in by Budgel. He's going to stay out there. Budgel and Philpott doing good work. It goes into the mesh down in the far corner. Face off is going to stay right there.
Real tight hockey game. I mean, you got 2 teams that are exchanging about 2 minutes of zone time each, back and forth. Some good forechecking, good cycling, and some good goaltending on both ends.
Shots on goal showing 7-7. What's the odds that that's correct?
I'm going to say we're probably 4 more each, but we're not going to give Mr. Fleury down there a hard time. He's got to focus on stopping the clock first.
Well, see, now you mentioned his name and threw him under the bus.
Well, I had to do that. Yeah.
That's tipped, goes wide. Batted away by Correa. And finally taken, here's Lovett. Lovett up the middle, tries to chip it, tries to split the defense. The defense close on him and clear it. And it does come out. And shot in. And that is going to be a flooring call. I mean, it has to be. If it came out over the red line, they indicated it came outside the zone, and then the shot back in. What else you gonna do?
Yeah, just at
Yep.
the red line. Tight one.
Under 2 to go here in the second. Bounces into Vitelli and kept it out. Ball goes into the corner. Bogdan doing good work to hold it in. Now he'll go chase it along the boards. Ball goes up in the air. Jump ball comes back towards the point. Bogdan hustles back. I'll tell you, not much room. This is Chafe. Down into the corner. Chafe heading for the front of the goal. They tried to get him the ball back on the give and go from Tate Cullen. That was broken up. Chafe has got it again down in the corner. Again, tough work along the boards. Comes back towards center. Shot back in. Mackey can't get it up. We're into the final minute here in the second period. Mackey's away. Francis heading for the front of the goal. Shot comes in. Francis knocks it out of the air, but it goes in behind the goal. Park is there. He touched it first, so play continues. It's tipped over the top of the goal. Francis comes to the side of the goal. Park is there. Diving out is Fleming, and he's got it and will hold on.
Yeah, another big save by Fleming there off that rush. Good chance for Pacific Coast, but Fleming there to make the save.
Cavan back at the point. Long wrist shot. Bounces in front, they score! Good things happen when you put the ball towards the net.
Yeah, kind of a broken play here, George, from the top, and it just takes a little bit of a weird bounce. Good tip in front. Just snuck through the 5-hole of Fleming. Big goal for Pacific Coast with 25.2 left on the clock. And like we talked about earlier, getting those face-offs, especially those offensive zone face-offs, lead to high-quality scoring chances, and Pacific Coast made the most of it.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. The ball was put in front. There was 4 or 5 players there, and everybody was swinging at it. The ball was bouncing. It's just a matter of who was going to make contact first. It was the Pacific Coast, and we're tied. That rolls into Fleming. He's got it. Again, unhappy with the extra attempt to come up with a loose ball after he had corralled it. 13.5 to go. Face-off win for Pacific Coast, but it'll come outside. Cavan racing back, trying to chase him down is Riley Cave. Just 5 seconds to go. They all pile into the boards, and the buzzer goes. Second period comes to an end. A late goal by Pacific Coast has knotted this one up at 1. We'll take a 2-minute break. We'll be back with period number 3. Vitelli didn't really look like he knew where that was either. He's got this one and covers it up. First one was a pretty juicy rebound.
Newfoundland coming out, a couple shots on goal here to start the third period. That's the way you want to start. Balls to the net.
Play just inside the Pacific Coast blue line. Lovett, who got credit for that Pacific Coast goal late in the second period, is in there looking for something else now for Pacific Coast. He got the ball in deep, and Newfoundland Labrador able to get it out. Really running hard is Philpott. He got to it, and a diving play by Alistair Lynn to knock it away from Philpott.
Yeah, I mean, Philpott with a great run, and then Lynn gets back and saves probably a really good goal scoring chance there.
Yeah, credit both players with a terrific play on that. Flynn knocks it down, couldn't get the shot through. And now here's a breakaway. Osmak all alone. Osmak is poke checked by Fleming. Fleming's got it. No whistle, no call. And Fleming gets out of dodge. Now he's shaken up. Down to the left of the goal, Newfoundland Labrador goaltender Fleming has been shaken up.
Yeah, I think someone from the staff's probably got to go check that out. I think he got a stick up high.
And there you see Fleming just getting back up now. And he's being checked out there now. So they'll attend to goaltender Ben Fleming down in the Newfoundland Labrador goal. It's quite a collision. It's the breakaway by Osmak, and the shot came in. I think everybody kind of fell over the top of the goaltender as he sprawled out to make the save.
Yeah, it's hard to see the exact angle of what Osmak was coming in at. Made a couple good moves. Fleming stayed right with him, and next thing you know, there's four guys on top of him, and he's getting a stick in the neck. So good job keeping the ball out. And good job for the referees for blowing it dead there. So that was a dead play. His helmet was off. That's why the play was blown dead.
Well, he indicates that he's okay.
You get to listen to 4 minutes of the Spice Girls here now, George.
Yeah, it's just one of the benefits of being here. Just some bonus stuff you get, right?
Couple Newfoundland flags down there in the stands. Got lots of support from back home. 10 minutes left in this game.
I was told that between the five teams, there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 160, 170 parents who made the trip.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. It's, no one's ever been really paid to play this sport, so you play it because you love it, and it's just, it's great seeing all the people make the trip in from the East Coast and come enjoy some ball hockey and enjoy the province of Manitoba and the city of Winnipeg.
Barker trying to muscle his way in. Barker coming off the boards. Barker with a shot that just goes wide. What an effort there by Declan Barker.
Yeah, that was a power move to the inside by Barker, just shielding the ball. Got a good shot off, but just put it a little high off the glass.
Game 8 on our webcast schedule coming up next. Go back to the U19 girls. Newfoundland Labrador selects against the Manitoba North Stars. Back and forth it goes at center around the Newfoundland and Labrador blue line. Barker again working hard along those boards. Finally gives it up. Cave. Trying to chase it down himself. Does a good job to leave it there for Blake. Blake with a shot. Vitelli made the save and then cleared the rebound. And a penalty is coming up to Pacific Coast, it appears. Tripping. So the whistle went as they touched it up. It's going to be Kenyon Temple. And indeed, that's who it is. 2 for tripping. Let's see if Newfoundland and Labrador can do anything with the man advantage.
Yep. Big time to get a power play here. 9 minutes left in the game and see if they can convert one.
Well, that didn't help. As Morgan fanned on it. And it's taken away by Mackey. Knocked off his stick as he turned and try and shoot it down the floor. Correa working hard. Newfoundland and Labrador come up with it. Now they'll settle and get set up on the power play. Tried that cross crease pass that went off the stick of the defender. Back of the point, long shot comes in, well wide of the goal. As Roberts let it go from that left point. Blake down into the corner. Philpott played it, went behind the goal. Cavan comes up with it, had a chance maybe to move, but a little slow. Flynn closes on him. Cavan though killing time, but it's still down in his own end. Now Pacific Coast come up with it. Can't get it out on the first try, they will on the second. And here's Mackey, short-handed. Mackey with a long shot in, kicked away by Fleming. Now they'll go to the corner. Time ticking away on this Newfoundland and Labrador power play. Philpott lifts it up. No flooring. Players go into the boards. Blake comes away with it. Got it out in front. Cleared but not out. Diving to keep it in was Keegan Morgan. Cahert with a chance. Doesn't move it. Blake. With a Flynn back at the point. Morgan. Morgan with a long shot, knocked down. Good diving play by Cavan. Can't get it out on the first try. Now they will on this one. What a play by Cavan. Blocked the shot and then cleared it out. Ready it on Fleming. He will hold it and drop it for Roberts. Penalty is over. Back to even strength.
Yep.
Great penalty kill that time.
Oh, big kill for Pacific Coast.
Offside.
And a little whistle here. 7:32 left to go in the third period, and it's been an absolute barn burner here at the Iceplex.
Two teams in the boys U15. Just getting their ball hockey careers started.
Yeah, to be 15 again.
That's what Callum, our camera guy, was telling me. He'd love to be 15 again. Oh, wait a minute. Callum is 15. Mackey turns. Mackey will bring it in over the blue line. Tried to flip it past Park. He did. Gets in there, scores. Oh, what hand-eye coordination by Cavan. Wow. Dustin, I'm looking at your face. You look stupefied.
I mean, it was an amazing goal. I'm just, it's not my place to call it, but I think you got to call a hand pass to yourself on that. You can't play it forward with your hand and be the next guy to touch it. So, as you can see here, he makes the play, he makes the chip. It goes by, he bats it forward with his hand, and then he actually bats it out of midair. So, credit to him. Amazing goal. but might have got away with one there, or maybe the ref just thought it was play on.
2-1. Just the hand-eye coordination to do that.
Oh, phenomenal. Yeah, one of the nicer goals we've seen today for sure.
So now, Pacific Coast up by 1. As we're beginning to wind down here in the third period. Almost at the halfway point of the third. Wrap around, they score! Newfoundland and Labrador ties it up. Just moments later, Philpott, Brandon Philpott, came out from behind and beats the goaltender. It goes 5-hole. Oh, it didn't go 5-hole. It beat him near post. Vitelli kind of stumbled in the net, never did get his balance back.
I just took a step aside to my right here just to ask about a rule, and I guess you can play it with your hand to yourself, so all credit to the referees and the Pacific Coast goal. That was a good goal, and as I did that, I missed a Newfoundland goal. So 2-2, 6 minutes to go. What a ball hockey game we have here.
Yeah, I kind of thought you could, having seen that, but I bowed to your superior knowledge.
Yeah, I just think you can't close your hand over the ball and move it forward, but you can bat it forward.
Yeah, you can't throw it to yourself. You can't, once you close your hand on it, you can't manipulate the ball left or right or toss it forward. Just gotta go straight down. Anyway, credit you, sir, for going and checking with the officials and getting that right.
Just had to get it right.
Absolutely, that's the bottom line. Barker racing after it. Barker in the corner. Bogdan's working him over. He'll get it back to Barker. He'll take it to the side of the goal. Tried to throw it out in front to Mackey. That's tipped away. We're closing in on 5 minutes left to go. I was going to say under 6, but it's closer to 5, so. Shea for the shot. Vitelli with his best save of the game.
What a save is right. Point blank in the slot. Vitelli's there to shut the door. It's getting loud in here, George, for the last 5 minutes. We got a raucous group here tonight. People making the long trip from BC, the long trip from Newfoundland. You know they brought everything to cheer with, so.
I've been telling people all day, there's actually a pretty good crowd for most of the games. Unfortunately, they're all on this side, so our camera doesn't pick them up.
Yeah.
The other side is kind of empty, but there is a really good crowd on this side of the arena to take in these early games, just day one. I love it, getting around the outside, love it with a move, love it. Threw it in front. Oh, Fleming dives over and makes a sensational save.
Fleming with just the save of the tournament right there. Unbelievable.
We have seen some great goaltending today, and that's up there with the best for sure. Wow.
What a save with 4 minutes
Great
to go.
Pass by Lovett as he came down the left side, fed his teammate over at the far post, and Fleming took away what for sure looked like a go-ahead goal by the Pacific Coast.
Oh, man. I'm still shaking from that one. That Lovett made a great move at the line to get around the defenseman. Found the guy backdoor in the slot, and Fleming was right out beat, and he dove all the way across to get his glove on it. Just simply amazing.
I was watching the latest James Bond movie on the flight up from Montreal to Winnipeg, that part of the flight, and so I was shaken but not stirred.
Well done, George.
Yeah, well, it's a long day. You got to fill it.
So we got a power play here, though. Newfoundland 4 minutes left. We're going to go 2-minute power play. See if they can get something going.
Yeah, I was so focused on the save, I didn't see where the penalty was. And another penalty coming up. It's a Newfoundland player.
Newfoundland's got to give the ball right to the Pacific Coast team right now, or get the goalie out.
Yeah, with leaving the goalie in, there's no point in using
the coaching staff hasn't picked up on it yet,
now
but I think the players have.
Now the goalie leaves, but now they give it up. So a little miscommunication, a little hesitation. Yeah, if you get the goalie out, you get the extra attacker. Then it's still a two-man advantage. But
toughest part as a coach, especially when you're coaching younger kids, is you really got to try and not become a spectator. It's tough, but you really got to focus on coaching the whole time.
Timeout. We're down to 3:52 left to go. It's going to be a two-man advantage, 5-on-3 for Newfoundland and Labrador when we come back. There you see the two penalties up on the big score clock over center floor.
Yeah, major opportunity here for Newfoundland. I'd really like to see their defensemen get a little bit closer in, maybe a couple feet off the face-off dots, and really take advantage of the room that they have to break down a 5-on-3 here. This is what you want late in the game.
Huge opportunity. Flynn will step in to take the face-off for Newfoundland and Labrador. Directing traffic, he wants another player over by the boards. Cullen goes over to the boards. That's right where he put it, but it comes back to the point to Blake. Park won it the one time, the pass was in his feet. Blake. Shot from well out off a stick. You'd like to see them getting closer, as you say, with that
there
opportunity.
It is.
There's a chance. I tell you, Vitelli's the old school stand-up goalie. Didn't go down in the butterfly, just stood up, kicked out the right leg, kept it out, cool as a cucumber. Now Blake, now he steps in. That shot, Vitelli's got it and covers it.
Great save there from Vitelli. I don't think he saw that one, but they don't ask how.
That was old school right there.
Oh, yeah.
Ball goes down into the corner. Pacific Coast on at first. Newfoundland Labrador come up with it. Blake. Philpott. Tough pass across the floor. Picked off. Like to see shorter passes.
Yeah, I'd really like to see them work the ball. Like, they've got two guys now. They got to win this battle. You won't get a third guy in there, but there's so much room in a 5-on-3 to open it up.
Park. Blake stepping in, shoots it. That one off the stick of the defender in front. Philpott, this one works. That shot by Park, Vitelli just got a piece of it and went behind him and came out the other side. Flynn fanned on it, now feeds it down low along the goal line. Philpott, that's cleared and down the floor it goes. First penalty is over. It's 5-on-4.
Now, all the credit to Pacific Coast for the kill there. They were in good positions. They didn't give up much for a 5-on-3, so.
Hey, Lovett is giving Newfoundland and Labrador all they can handle down in their own end. Park finally gets it up along the boards to Blake. Just 3 seconds to go in the power play. Great penalty kill by the Pacific Coast. Blake trying to work his way in. Coming out of the penalty box and picking it up. That's Francis. Francis has got Mackey with him, over to Mackey. Mackey on the backhand. Fleming got a piece of it with the glove. Just a minute and a half left to go in this one. It's been a dandy. Mackey turns from outside the blue line, fires in. Big rebound. Fleming wasn't quite sure where it was. Came off his stick, and with that backspin, came back to him.
Good job on Fleming there. He found it. I mean, it bounces up quick, and when it's spinning, you don't know where it's going to go, but he did a good job keeping it in front of him. Now we got a timeout for Pacific Coast with 1:25 to go here.
Chances both ways, but what a penalty kill.
Unbelievable.
That 5-on-3 really, there was a couple of good chances for Newfoundland and Labrador, but not a lot.
Yeah, I got bad memories of late 5-on-3s in games. I don't have to talk about it too much, but the Slovakians know what I'm talking about.
So we are even strength. Just $1.25 left to go in this one.
Minute 25, 2-2, 15-15 in shots. What more could you want here?
I'd say it was pretty even.
I'd say it's pretty even.
Face off in the Newfoundland and Labrador end. Lovett is out there, the captain for Pacific Coast, to take the face off. And he won it back to the point. Backhanded towards the goal, it goes wide. Running hard down into the corner. Marshall, but he won't get there in time across the goal line. Good hustle, but just couldn't catch up to the ball. So the face-off comes back down in the Newfoundland and Labrador end as we're down to 1 minute and 8 seconds to go.
Again, every face-off so important right now with 1:08 left in the game. See if Newfoundland can get a defensive zone draw, or Pacific Coast, just like they did at the end of the second period, or the first, late goals, winning draws in the offensive zone.
Mackey against Chafe. Chafe won it into the corner, but it came out in front. Newfoundland and Labrador have it. They'll move it up to 4. Monk knocked off his stick by Barker. We're into the final minute of this game. Marshall put it in towards the goal, but it's knocked down and cleared down the 4. Let's see, will this be enough, or is it good draw weight? It will be enough for a flooring call. Now the face-off in the Pacific Coast end.
No surprise to see Park and Budgeon on the back end for Newfoundland. Lovett taking the draw for Pacific Coast.
Draw again, Lovett against Blake on the draw. Ball bounces into the corner. Will be kept in over that left side by Bugden, but now it's brought out. Francis gets a shot on goal. Fleming has to cover it up. 26.1 to go. Surrounded by 3 players that time and managed to get a shot on goal.
Yeah, it was a good effort, good run. 26 seconds to go.
Scramble draw goes behind the goal. Newfoundland and Labrador come up with it. It's Blake steps between the 2 forecheckers and heads up the 4. Blake in over the blue line. Blake trying to take it right to the goal. It goes in behind the goal. Cabin plays it out towards the blue line. Knocked down there by Park. Park fed it in front. That's picked off. Up ahead to Osmak. Osmak a little bit too far for Cunningham. Time runs out, and fittingly this game ends in a 2-2 tie. So back-to-back ties for Newfoundland and Labrador to start their national championships.
Yeah, 2 tight games for the Newfies. Gave up that late one, but we're able to hold off for a 2-2 tie, and that'll bode well going into tomorrow.
All right, we've got another game coming up in just a couple of minutes from now. We're going to go back to the girls under 19. We've got the Manitoba North Stars taking on the Newfoundland and Labrador Selects. We invite you to come back and join us for that one.